Britain gets one of its most important artifacts repatriated back to them, but there is a catch. With the Bayeux Tapestry, it is set to return to Britain for the first time in over 900 years, effectively since it was created, that depicts the Battle of Hastings and William the Conqueror.
Yeah. I just want to take a moment right there to just talk about that first sentence. And, the British having, major cultural artifacts. I mean, who knew? You look at the British Museum, you certainly wouldn't know.
Well, yes, of course. That the reason being is the French took all the British artifacts, so the British needed to take the rest of the world.
Is this why they hate each other? Is this our new is this the new historical humans canon of why the French and British hate each other? It's not all the wars.
Well, this was just spoils of war. And realistically, it was. But this is a part of a historic landmark loan agreement between Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK, and Emmanuel Macron, the French president. And the 70-meter long embroidered cloth. So this thing is over 100 feet long. Like, it is incredibly massive. Shows the invasion, the Battle of Hastings, and then also the coronation of Robert the Bruce. It's literally a historical document,
Yep.
which is pretty neat in my mind. It's beautifully colored, beautifully embroidered, and it tells the story quite well. But in
Yeah, definitely.
exchange, because nothing in life is free.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is part of a loan agreement. It's a very major one. The tapestry here has not left France in 900 years. And so for it to be allowed to leave the country even for just a limited time, like it is going to next year, that is huge. These sorts of artifacts, it's miraculous that they survived, especially in good condition, and that makes a lot of places very hesitant to move them under really any circumstances short of their imminent destruction.
It's also just interesting too because the British have historically not been too keen on these kinds of trades and agreements that have been made. Um,
Yeah.
the interesting thing in my mind is, on one hand, this is a very one-sided trade in a lot of ways because the Sutton Hoo shipwreck had shipwrecked in the UK, and the tapestry was from the UK. So
It's not
they're both British at
it's
the end of the day.
it's not a shipwreck. It was like a pseudo Viking burial. They buried someone in with the ship.
Oh, it was burial. That's even
It's a burial.
cooler.
Yeah, it is a burial. So they're getting to see what is the early blending of Anglo and Saxon culture in these grave goods. And the British are getting to look at one of the cultural marvels that began in their country.
One of the few. I
Yeah,
kid, I kid. But
but it's
the tapestry is very interesting because it consists of 58 scenes and is widely accepted to have been made in England during the 11th century, commissioned by Bishop Odo of Bayeux and Sylvette Langeman, who is a conservator of the tapestry, wrote that the fact that it survived this long is nothing short of a miracle, little short
yeah,
of miraculous.
yeah. Now the reason why Bayeux commissions this tapestry and why it's in France and not uh, England is because at the time when this tapestry was commissioned, uh, Bayeux, as a part of Normandy, was technically part of England, given the fact that William the Conqueror was from Normandy. He was the Lord of the Normans, the people of Normandy, and he decided England made a pretty good look for taken.
I mean, that channel gets a lot smaller when you have good ships.
Yeah, and so he invades and he does his thing, and eventually Normandy falls fully unto the kingdom of France, and at that point the tapestry is an English tapestry in France.
But it is interesting because the tapestry has been on display in various locations in France throughout its history, most recently at the Bayeux Museum, and now it'll actually be in the Sainsbury Exposition Hall exhibition gallery in the British Museum starting on September 2026, continuing to July of 2027.
Oh my, can you imagine an exposition hall? I feel like that'd be a very British thing. You just read the first 10 pages of any novel from at least 100 years ago.
Dear
It
Lord.
was the best of times. It was the worst of times. No, we will not be getting to the plot.
But it just also goes to show just how intertwined the histories of both France and Britain are. And you can see an image of the tapestry here, and it just goes on. I mean, it is an incredible, incredible piece of history.
Yeah, there's 58 separate scenes that comprise this tapestry. It is massive. It is an attempt to literally retell the entire Battle of Hastings and thus the ascension of William the Conqueror in one go.
Well, and it kind of ties together two other major events, which is the 1000th anniversary of the birth of William the Conqueror, as well as tying with the Tour de France in the UK.
Yep. Which seems like an interesting choice. We will tour France by riding through Britain, their mortal enemy.
It's interesting how much the Brits like to talk about it. The British Museum is one of the world's most visited museums and is a fitting place to host this most treasured piece of our nation's history. Start
Yep.
hearing Hail Britannica for a moment in the background. Uh,
Oh god, yeah. But it is nice that the two countries are making an exchange and that there is this kind of dialogue going on between various world leaders to allow um cultural icons and artifacts to move across borders in this way. This lets more people see these things than would otherwise potentially be able to, and it helps publicize them as well to a wider audience. Like, I did not know that this tapestry existed before we found this article.
See, I was aware of this tapestry. I've seen reproductions. I've never seen the original. And this is very cool to see and to hear. And it's very interesting to me that the British Museum is willing to give up parts of other collections for this, yet the Elgin marbles still lay high and dry in that leaky roof of the British Museum.
You see, the key is that this is temporary. The British will get their stuff back at the end of the year. This exchange is only to last for like September of 26 to July of 27. They are this is a temporary exchange, which the British Museum is much more amenable to, because it doesn't involve admitting that you have something you probably shouldn't.
Also helps when it's your prime minister who negotiates for it, anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a great point to wrap up today's episode. Let us know your thoughts down below, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.